Sudhin Choksey is on, just Managing Director with Gruh Finance. Mr. Choksey, good morning and thank you for joining us. Now, growth, if I look at what you've reported in last 2 quarters, has slowed down and disbursements are only growing at 2% year on year. Is there a conscious call that you want to slow down right now?
I wouldn't say that there is a conscious call to slow down. I think you need to recollect that, the last year, we had a first quarter very strong disbursal growth post demonetization, and it was a quarter pre-GST announcement. So I think there was quite a strong demand, and the disbursal was almost a 30% growth we had in that particular quarter. So I think when you compare this quarter with the previous quarter, obviously the growth looks lower compared to that. Yes, but we have not so far indulged into irrational pricing, and we have been able to still sustain 3% in the intensive competitive environment.
Okay. Now, broadly, if you have to look at the lay of the land, since you are in the category which is the 10 to 12 lakh category, what is your understanding of demand there?
See, the demand, I think potential demand has always been there. The issue at the bottom of the pyramid is in respect of the supply. We have been expecting that the supply situation should improve post, the last budget, when the developers have been given an incentive in terms of the tax exemption. So I think, that supply situation, if everything goes on time schedule, I think we should start seeing during the second half of the current financial year or during the next financial year, depending as to how the, implementation and execution of the project happens.
What's the outlook in a rising rate scenario on the kind of disbursement growth that you're touting?
See, we have been generally focusing on the loan asset growth. Loan asset growth, we have been working in the vicinity of around 20%. And I think we are still working on that. And I think we are hopeful we should be able to sustain that kind of growth.
Okay. Mr. Choksey, you managed to grow without raising capital. For how many quarters more you will be able to grow with your cash generation? Because everyone is curious that why you are not raising capital when your book value is at an historic high.
I think you must look at it that our capital adequacy ratio is, more than required. It is I think it is around 17% plus as against a regulatory requirement of 12%. And therefore, we see there is no need at the moment, to raise any further capital infusion. And even on the past few years, if you would look at it, all the regulatory changes which came, I think which came in our favor, because the risk weight was reduced from 100% to 35%, especially in the segment in which we operate. So I think these are the regulatory changes that has enabled us to sustain it for a little longer period than the others.
So, Mr. Choksey, final comment, given the vision that you have and given the kind of, landscape that you're currently dealing with, what is the outlook then going forward for the kind of asset quality, margins and overall growth that you've projected or set out for yourself as internal targets for FY19?
I think as regards the growth, I did mention that, we have been working internally on the loan asset growth of 20%. I think as regards the quality of the loan asset is concerned, I think it has been pretty satisfactory. Even when this year we adopted the Ind AS accounting system, and where we have to consider the estimated credit losses over the complete tenure and not on a particular date. I think those analyses also have shown, that our recovery performance has been very, very efficient. And I think that is reflected in our provisioning which we have done this quarter.
I appreciate your time. Glad you could join us. Facebook last night.